Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the MC class. Today we are discussing about various mobile IP requirements and also different entities and terminologies that are required for getting interacting with the mobile IP, which is very different with the normal IP communication. Right. So how the normal IP communication has been different from the IP communication. That is what we say. Right. So, what the IP communication do with Wi-Fi communication will route up the different network communicating points. It will give the paths for the communication, establish the communication, getting connection with the external world or external nodes or external parties. All these things. But coming to the mobile communication, what happens here is the mobile communications has to be get accommodated with the available space and available frequency bands. How they are going to be getting communicated with each other. So how it is going to be different from the normal IP? Normal IP communication has been different from the mobile IP. How it is different? In what aspects it will be getting different when compared to the IP with the mobile IP? That is what we see now. Okay. Uh, right. So you already discussed about what is the need for mobile IP as the normal IP addresses. Okay, the IP addresses as a host is going to be assigned with a certain IP address in the communication part. Okay, in the communication part. So this mobile is going to be as in the mobile IP communication, the particular communication node is going to be moving over. So without changing the IP address, how the point of attachment has to be get continued in the particular mobile IP communication. That is the one thing. Next one is ongoing sessions are going to be couldn't break up while changing the point of attachment. That is another thing. That is why you are moving for the mobile IP. Next one is we have to get connected with the global internet with the existing equipment itself. With the existing equipment, we have to connect with the global internet. Okay, globally and universally, we have to connect with other communication parties. And host cannot change the IP address, and without terminating the ongoing sessions, he has to restart with the new addresses or the new communication points or the new point of attachment. So that is the need of the mobile IP. And coming to the mobility definition, mobility is nothing but the ability of the node to change its point of attachment without changing the IP address and with the existing communication facilities. Whereas the IP communication is going to follow in the property of nomadicity. Nomadicity allowing the node to move, but has to terminate the communication in order to connect with the get new point of attachment. So the mobile IP is going to be can be defined as a new network layer solution for both the homogeneous category and both the heterogeneous category of the mobile communicating nodes, providing the mobility, scalability, robustness, security, and which allows nodes to maintain all ongoing communications while moving. So without breaking, even though they are moving, so we are going to maintaining the communication while maintaining the features like scalable, robust, and security throughout the communication. That is the mobile IP, right? Coming to the design goals of mobile IP, already we discussed about this. For transparently dealing with the mobile problems, mobile users, problems of the mobile users, to transparently deal with the problems of the mobile users and accommodate more number of users in the accommodate more number of users in the available size and frequency with the existing equipment, right? No specific enhancements in the software of the communicating node. That's the third goal. And next one is the getting with the number of getting out with the come up with the number of solutions for dealing with the multiple address communication, for dealing with the multiple address communication. So what are all the goals of the mobile IP? Even though it has been different with the normal IP communication, it has been came up with the different goals like transparently dealing with the problems of the mobile users and accommodating more number of users with the available size and space and also frequency bands with the existing equipment itself and implementing the minimum mobile mode software without enhancing much and also coming up with more number of solutions that require the mobile communication with the multiple addresses. Those are the design goals of the corresponding mobile IP, right? And coming to the requirements with these design goals, okay, with these design goals, what could be the requirements? While maintaining the goals and to achieve while achieving the goals, it has to follow up the compatibility. That is, even though IP communication equipment is been existing, mobile users has to use that and execute their functionality. That is the compatibility. No change in the operating system, no change in the computer network routes, no change in the routers, no change in the any software, no change in any hardware. So even though there is no change in all these things, all the mobile communicating users should use the same IP for their communication to execute. That is the compatibility. Next one is the transparency. So we know that only three lower layers of the communication protocol stack are need for mobile IP communication. They are only helpful for the mobile communication, whereas upper layers are doesn't bother about and they couldn't help the mobile IP communication. They're just doing their upper layer mechanisms. While doing so, those upper layers shouldn't have the confusion that whether they are handling the IP communication functionalities or the mobile IP communication functionalities. Whatever the stress and whatever the work with the mobile IP communication, all has to be handled only with the three lower layers. And these differentiation between the normal IP communication and the mobile IP communication shouldn't be get identified by the higher layers. In that way, the transparency has to be maintained. There is another requirement. And third one is the scalability and efficiency. See, as the mobile IP is allowing to accommodate more number of users in the same size and space and frequency bands, obviously more number of users coming to see. They are going to be simply sending their messages. Those messages shouldn't flood the network. Even though available space is less, we are allowing many number of users. So as you are going to allowing the many number of users, it's not the case to send the messages each and every time so that they are going to flooding the network and making the bottleneck problem. So that shouldn't be done. And that shouldn't be done is nothing but achieving the same efficiency in the case of IP, even with the case of the mobile IP, even though you are been increasing the number of users. That is nothing but achieving or getting the scalability and the efficiency parallelly. Even though you are been increasing the number of users, you should also have to increase the efficiency. Even not increasing, at least maintain the same efficiency nature of the IP along with the mobile IP. That is the third requirement. And obviously fourth one is the security, where we should require this security whenever there are many number of users and mobility. Whenever these users are going to be moving and they are going to be having the multiple in number, obviously we do need the security among them while coding the data, enhancing the data, encrypting the data. The IP layer is the sole responsible one to take care that whether the prompt sender is being sending the data to the prompt receiver, right? So that is the security feature. So along with the goals of the introduction of the mobile IP, the compatibility of the existing equipment for the mobile communication has to be taken care. Next one is the transparency. There is nothing but higher layer shouldn't identify whether it is going to dealing with the IP communication or the mobile IP communication. And next one is the scalability and efficiency. So along with the accommodation of multiple number of users, along with the accommodation of multiple number of users, the scalability and at the same time efficiency has to be maintained. Okay, that scalability and efficiency in turn shouldn't ignore the security. These four are the challenges and the requirements that has to be faced by the corresponding mobile IP. So finally, the goal of the IP can be summarized by saying these requirements as supporting the existing mobile users and system mobility users while maintaining the scalability, efficiency, compatibility with the existing applications in the internet protocol. So without changing in the present system, along with the equipment, applications, and also with the protocols, the corresponding mobile IP supporting the mobile users, maintaining scalability, efficiency, and also the compatibility. Okay, and coming to some entities and the terminology that we have to learn in this context of mobile IP. So, as you know about the IP communication, in that particular communication, we do know about only the nodes, routers, bridges, path, route optimizations, algorithms. All these things will be there. How the what is called as nodes has to be identified, nodes has to be routed up, how they has to be mapped up, how the paths has to be identified, how they has to be get established with the connectivity, how the packets has to be transferred, how they has to be what is called as controlled, how the traffic has to be maintained, how the bridges and how the gateways are there. All these things have been concerned with IP communication. Whereas with the mobile IP, what are the additional terms that we have to learn about? What are the entities and the terminology that we have to know in case of the mobile IP? The first one is the mobile node. The mobile node is nothing but a end system or a router that can change the point of attachment by using the mobile IP. That is nothing but a mobile node is nothing but a particular router or a particular communicating point which is changing its position using the mobile IP. And this particular mobile node can have its IP address to be as a constant one, or it is going to be changed. That is maybe static or maybe mobile device. So that until and unless it is going to be having the link layer connectivity with its own network, it won't need any mobile IP support. Okay, it can communicate with its own LLC, right? That is link layer connectivity. Examples of this mobile nodes comes as like laptops, mobile nodes, routers on an aircraft. Okay, etc. And next one is the correspondent node. Correspondent node is nothing but at least one partner of the node should be there for our mobile node. That could be the correspondent node. So anybody is there to be there to communicate with the other one, right? So that could be the correspondent node. Next one is the home network. The own network of the mobile node is called as the home network. At that one, the IP address or the identification of that particular mobile node will be given for that. That is the IP address. That is the local address, what we call. Okay, and there will be foreign network which is not belonging to our mobile node. But whenever our mobile node is going to be moving from our home network, that is, he is in a journey or he is going to be traveling, he may be entering into some other network which is not belong to him. That particular network is called as the foreign network. Okay, in that case, he is going to be visiting. The mobile node will be the visiting node of the foreign network. At that time, he is not having his home network, so that his identification has to be get some problem. Okay, so in the home network, he is having that particular mobile node is having its own identity or the IP address. But whenever the user, along with that IP address, is moving from his own network to the corresponding phone network, foreign network, he has to be get identified there without affecting the communication. In that case, we'll be having the foreign agent, right? Foreign agent is simply a router which is going to give you some service. Foreign agent is a router which is simply giving you some router services, where it is going to allocating you some address called as COA, care of address. COA, care of address, will be given for that particular mobile node which is visiting the foreign network. So using that particular COA itself, you are forwarding your data from your mobile node to the correspondent node. There you are going to forwarding your data. There you are going to encapsulating. There you are going to securing the data. Whatever it is, what we want to do with our home router, everything can be done with the foreign agent, right? This care of address is nothing but it's like an IP address that is given to your home network, but in the foreign network it will be called as the care of address. That particular care of address can be given for you as taking that particular care of address itself. You are going to delivering your data from your side to the corresponding receiver. The packet delivery and tunneling, encapsulation, securing, and sending the data to the receiver side, it has to be done only with the help of the COA itself. Until you complete the communication, this CVO will be serving you. Right? That is about the foreign agent and all those things. And this foreign COA, this COA is going to be existing in two ways. So what is this? Coming to the present class, the COA is going to be existing in two methodologies. What are these two methodologies? Is foreign agent COA and the co-located COA. For example, if you have been moved from your home network to the corresponding what is called as foreign network, then you are being allocated with some COA from the foreign agent, and you are been staying there itself for a long interval of time until you complete your communication. Then the COA will be called as foreign agent COA. Otherwise, if you are been continuously moving and not returning in a single home network continuously, you will be allocated with some co-located COA, which is a temporary COA given for you. So as you are traveling, your COA is going to be changing. That particular co-located COAs are going to be changing. So I'll explain you how it is going to be moving over, right? I will do this. What I want to say is, see, your mobile node is here, and you are belonging to some home network, right? And this is another network, and this particular mobile node is being communicating with some correspondent node, right? The partner of the mobile node is the communicating node, right? So this mobile node is been communicating with the correspondent node. So he will be having some IP address, right? The home agent will be there giving you this particular IP address. Using this particular identification, you are being communicating with the CN. So this address will be only known by the CN. So the CN can identify yourself by using the help of the IP address itself. Okay, so you are being communicating. So until and unless you are being there, right? 1 second. Right, this is the home network of you. So whenever you are being in the home network, simply you will be assigned with some IP address. This IP address will be get identified by the CM. You are simply communicating. But whenever you are moving, this MN is going to be moving, right? Moving. While moving, it enters into this network, foreign network. This is the foreign network. While traveling through, he entered here. This is M1 came here. MN came here. So it is not known to the foreign network. MN is new to the foreign network, but how it is going to be identifying and how the CN is going to be get routed. Why? Because with the help of the home network, a route has been framed up, and using that particular route, MN and CN are been communicating with each other. There is mobile node is communicating with the correspondent node. But what happens when it enters into the MN? Here, there will be one person called as, or then will be a router called as FA, which is going to allocate you COA, care of address, right? It's going to be allocating the care of address for you. This address will become your temporary identification for the CN by the foreign agent within the foreign network. Within the foreign network, this foreign agent which is acting as a default router for you assigns you a care of address, which is identification for the CN now. So your own IP address will not be working now. You will be allocated with the COA using that particular COA itself. You are being communicating CN. See, if you are being retaining in this foreign network, if you are being retaining in this foreign network continuously until your communication completes, then the allocated COA will be called as foreign agent COA. Will be called as foreign agent COA. Otherwise, for example, if the same CMN is being traveling over, entered into another foreign network, and right from here he enters into another foreign network. Sorry. So here there will be their own foreign agents. Right. This is one foreign network, this is one foreign network, another network. So this MN has been traveling over. He entered into this foreign network, he has been assigned with some COA. And from there onwards, he has been traveled here and entered into this network. This foreign agent assigns some COA. And again, from there onwards, he traveled to another foreign network. This particular foreign agent assigned some other COA. So how many COAs has been allocated? One, two, three. Three COAs has been allocated. So whenever these COAs are being moving or being changing over from time to time until a single communication has been completed in between the MN and CN. Until a single communication completes between MN and CN, if COAs are being changing, there is nothing but the mobile node is going to be changing over. Then this particular COAs, which are allocated by different foreign agents in the different foreign networks, are called as co-located COS. So they are temporary, very temporary. Until and unless you are being there in the foreign network, they will be give you the guidance. Whenever you are moving, they will be dropping over, and again another new CAO, that is new co-located COA, will be taken by the another foreign network, given by the another foreign network. And whenever you are moving from this foreign network to the another foreign network, another COA will be there. This is only the co-located COA, not the foreign agency way. But once you communicate, I mean, when you've been entering into the foreign network, one foreign network, there you complete the communication continuously, returning in that network, then that particular COA, which is only one COA allocated to you, will be called as the foreign agent COA, right? This is how the corresponding co-located COA and foreign agent COA will be distinguished, right? I think I am clear now, right? So this is how the foreign agent COA and co-located COA will be identified. So this is how the foreign agents and home agents will be there. Our mobile host is there. Home agent will be in between the network and us, and foreign agent is there in between the foreign network and the internet. So whenever this mobile host enters into the foreign network, this foreign agent is going to be allocating you some address. This is how this is being given. Our mobile host address own IP address is 131.5.24.8. Okay, the host network is like this. IP, what is called IP address gateway or space is like this. But once it enters into the foreign network, this particular network, sorry, foreign agent is going to be allocating you another care of address that is called as 14.13.16.9, which is very different from our own address. Home address is 131.5.24.8, whereas care of address is 14.13.16.9. This is how the home agents and the foreign agents are going to be allocating you the home addresses and the care of addresses. And the home agent is going to be acting for you in three ways. Home agent is going to be acting for you in three ways. So how it has been acting: whenever your mobile node is presenting in your home network, this is going to be acting as a router responsible for every functionality of a mobile node. It will be acting as a router for your node, performing every functionality of your communication. Whenever you are moving to the home foreign network, then it will be acting as an arbitrary subnet. It is going to be acting as an arbitrary subnet. But here it is going to be crossing with two types of data. Why? Because it's been acting as a subnet as a home router, and also subnet for the foreign subnet also. So that data will be crosses for two times. This is the disadvantage of using it as a subnet router. Okay. Finally, next one is the it is going to be acting as simply as a manager, not at a router, not as an arbitrary node. It will be acting as a simple manager whenever ourself completely retains in the virtual network instead of either home network or of the corresponding foreign network. Then the corresponding home agent will be acting as simply the manager. So it will be acting as a router, it will be acting as arbitrary subnode, and it will be acting as a corresponding manager also. So this is how the corresponding thing has been given here. Router home agent, router of the correspondent node. The our mobile node from the home network has been moved to the foreign network. Here the mobile node has been existing, but the CN doesn't know about the MN has been moved from home to the foreign. So that CN is going to be sending the data to the or the address of it to the router of home agent itself. Then the corresponding router of home agent identifies that the MN is present in the home network, sorry, foreign network. Then it is going to be tunneling the corresponding address to be get allocated with the COA by the router FA. Why? Because with the help of the COA itself, the MN and CN has to communicate or continue the communication. So for that one, the address tunneling has to be done by the home router itself. Why? Because CN will be only known with router of home agent. So here the tunneling of the address will be done by the router home agent with the router foreign agent. So after that, the encapsulated address with the COA will be sent to the MN. Then the MN has to get communicated with the router. Then there will be a direct communication between this default router of MN, that is the router FA, and the router of CN will be directly communicating. Okay. So this is what given in. So how the packet data, IP packet delivery and the handover mechanism will be taking place. So that is while moving from one network to the another network, we do require the handover. So how the handing over will be taking place? That handing over will be taking place with the help of the tunneling. That is the tunneling of the address of the correspondent node will be done through the allocation of the COA by the router forward agent. In this case, this two is being nothing but the two tunneling case. The first step is CN has been sending the address to the router HA. HA is going to be intercepting the packet. After intercepting, the address will be tunneled to the router FA. There it is being encapsulated to the MN, and MN is going to be directly contacting the CN now. This is how the IP data values will be get transferred. That is, four steps are being explained here. Okay, so this is how the transfer of the data will be done. Okay, the first step is been just sending the IP address to ME, HA intercepts. Next one is the HA tunnels. Okay, home agent is going to be tunneling the packet. Next, FA forwards to the or encapsulates the packet to the MN, and MN in reverse sending it to the CN. Okay, FA has been acting as a default router for the MN. In this way, IP packet delivery and handover management will be taking place. And coming to the data transfer in mobile IP, we'll see in the next class. So what we have been covered in this class, we've been covered with the different entities, so right from the requirements of the mobile IP, along with the goals of it. We've been covered with different entities to be learned before getting into the corresponding mobile IP communication. Right. In that way, we will be doing. We'll be get correlating with the mobile IP communication. Right. So we have to identify and we have to see that all these things has to be happen and how the IP communication will be get executing with the mobile IP communication with various entities. We have to see different standards, how it is packet will be can get converted, how the data will be transferred over, how what do you mean by the tunneling and encapsulation of the data, how the routing of the packets will be done between the two communicating nodes. All these things has to be get identified. So what we have to do is we have to get communicate in the next class. Okay, so please refer the topics every day. Don't forget to refer the topics every day. Why? Because if you don't do that, you will be losing the what is called as interaction with the what is called interaction with that particular topic. So once the exams has been announced or the mid or the external exam has been announced, then you have to go from the right first unit or the first topic or the first concept, which is very terrible. Okay, at the short period you have to do all those things, right? Don't do that. Regularly attend the classes. Every class and every concept is very important, and your final subjects are very vast in syllabus. Every time you have to refer them. Don't neglect it. Simply everybody think of that simply we can refer at the end of the exams. It's not the case. It will become burdensome. You are not in a freelancing mode. You are in a very hectic schedule. You are very in tight schedule, so that you have to refer daily. While learning itself, you have to understand, you have to learn, and referring daily and referring regularly your topics, you will be able to identify what are all the topics that have gone and what are all the things that have been done, so that by hearing itself learn something. Don't just kick it up with the books and textbooks and all those things. So what the people are been saying, what the staff are saying for the sake of you, how they are been giving you the lessons, how they are been helping you, all these things. So please go through that. Okay, so and during the session please regularly attend the classes and regularly refer the topics.